And we are now live once again for another episode of NVR Live. Well, tonight we got a very special guest. He hasn't been around for a while, but he came back out of the blue. So, Josh, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for people that, don't know you. And we just switched the screen for some reason. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody who knows me? And the people that don't, I'm JH Vapes. And now we just switched screens again. But yeah. For those who don't know me, I'm JH Vapes, otherwise known as Josh. Call me JH, don't call me by my government name. You can check me out on YouTube at jhvapes.com or just my website. Blooper. At JH, yeah. Enough with me. I've had a little, it's been a long day.
Hey, B-Man, do want to say hi to you there. But sorry, guys. Once again, I got off late from work, so I'm eating during the show. But tonight, as you saw, tonight's title was actually Let's Throw the Vape e-liquid in Boston Harbor. It's time for the Minuteman Vape Party. So, what we're talking about, as many of you can remember from history, the Boston Tea Party. That's what we're going off of. Because for many of you that watched my show, or well, not my show, my recorded video that I did just a couple weeks ago, I pretty much tore our advocacy organizations a new butt with that video. What do you think about it, Josh?
Yeah, you quite did. I think I was one of the first people to watch that video, and you kind of hit some good points on it though. You did do your good fact research, and you did hit some very strong points on it that was pretty much well spoken. Pardon me if it gets a little cuts in and out here. I just noticed it's now downpour. It's now started to pour down outside now, so bring on the rain. And no, we're not throwing. We'll throw e-liquid into the river into Boston Harbor. We're not throwing tea because I brought herbal tea tonight to drink, and my tea's not going in the harbor.
And I will say tonight, I'm actually vaping Bunker Bliss. One of my favorite from the line.
I was vaping the original earlier. Now I got cool pineapple from Epiphany.
I had to pull myself away from my e-liquids that Steve sent me because normally I get liquids from Steve, they're gone within a week or so. And that's 120 ml bottles.
Hello, Steven. I seen you commented on my channel the other day.
But actually, I can't remember if it was Steve or if it was somebody else just bought a bottle of e-liquid from me. If it was you, Steve, thanks a lot, man. I thought so. It should be in the mail to you. I'll be sending you the key tonight. I woke up this morning, was going to do some work on the website, and everything basically went crash on me because I woke up, my landlords didn't pay the electric bill, so I had no power this morning.
Then on top of that, let me guess, when you got back on, figured it out, you had like 80 messages from my ass.
But, so let's just be flat out, Josh. What do you think, while we're waiting on Steve to get out of the shower, what do you think, going from here, with all our advocacy that's failed, what do you see personally as the next step? Because I know you used to be big into advocacy when you were involved.
Yeah, before I took a break and everything. Our next step, what I would see, obviously, you had a lot of bills and legislation that has just failed going through the floor as well. The only thing I see right now that is our best liable chance, whether people are going to hate me or not, I don't care. I've always been the center of hate, as everybody knows. The Duncan Hunter bill I see is our next our strongest suit. I mean, for a while, everybody hung on to HR 2058, and they hung on to it they hung on to the Cole Bishop Amendment. But as you mentioned in the last video, both of them have failed to reach any further, and they've been stopped dead in their tracks. And some of them haven't even gotten denied out of the budget more than once. So, I mean, what I would like to see what would happen, to be honest, in true reality, is all of our organizations to really come together and stop this childish games that they're playing. I mean, I've talked to Julia back in the past, and I could see where they have their standpoints on certain views and certain things, and why they do the things they do. But at the same time, some of the things don't make sense. I think that if they were not stuck, that certain organizations weren't stuck in their views, they would have gotten a lot further. Like, for instance, the organization's not using walking with them. I mean, I still chat with them back and forth, but every day I see him posting stuff about the flavor bans in California, which seems to be going nowhere as well. So I do believe that, like I said, all the organizations should really, and I'll be honest, shouldn't have so many organizations in the first place. It makes no sense to have 7 different advocate groups fighting for us in the first place, and when reality, it just makes us look bad to have so many groups, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I don't know why OBS just crashed on me for some reason. How you doing, Steve?
I'm okay, man. She said you saw the naked truth earlier, huh?
I wasn't going to bring it up.
She said, I jumped in the shower after she was in the shower, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" So she jumped in the shower, and then I'm just getting, I'm doing my thing in there, and she says, "You had the video going." I walked right in, and then it closed on.
Well, to make the record, I didn't see anything. By the time I was looking up to the computer, he's like, "Turn your head." I'm like, "Why? Just turn your head." Okay. I'm like, "I'll just do this. I'll put a hat in front of the screen."
Yeah, we were very kosher with that.
She said you guys were cool.
I saw that, and I'm like, I'm turning my head.
Yep, that's what she said. That's what she said.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Josh. I really do think, even though we've got a lot of haters on the Hunter legislation, I know Steve isn't fully sold on it either.
Well, a lot of people aren't fully sold on it because there's been so many legislations out and so many bills out that they're skeptical on what's happening.
I don't really like the fact that it will take people out of the game. But I mean, it's a good place to start.
Exactly. So
we shall see. But I mean, I don't think it's going to open up any dialogue. I mean, I was looking at some things the other day, and I was watching this crap, and it was pretty ridiculous. And one of the things that they were talking about was just, the amount of money that we have to pay, and to play, actually, meaning that if we don't actually come up with substantial amounts of money to buy our legislators, we're pretty much screwed. And that's kind of scary. What are we gonna do?
That sounds like typical Washington bullshit, like always.
Well, seriously, what are we going to do? I mean, we're
exactly.
If we don't come up with the cash flow, what will we do? Nothing.
We have a hard time getting people to come together to send out forms to write our Congress and senators, let alone coming up with money.
It's a nature of the very nature of the act of the active demographic, right? I mean,
Very true. I mean,
obviously, we know that the average vapor is a little bit older than the active demographic, but the active demographic is fairly young.
Yeah.
When you have a bunch of 20-somethings, they're not really into signs and letters,
No.
Yeah,
Not really.
see, that's part of the problem, because what we need, like I had said, and I think I found that word that Mark might actually support.
What's that?
That word is movement, not advocacy.
There you go. That's pretty good.
That is why I was using Boston Harbor and the Boston Tea Party, because that was a movement that started the revolutionary movement.
Exactly, because like they were saying in the other shows that I've watched, an advocate is technically somebody who can stand up and fight for somebody who can't stand up and fight. We can perfectly fight for ourselves if people would just get off their butts. But fortunately, you got armchair quarterback. You got a lot of armchair quarterbacks who like to put their 2 cents and everything and think they're right. But in reality, it's more of a movement instead of an advocacy kind of thing. Because we're perfectly capable of doing things on our own.
And that is why, Josh, back when they were talking about the march on D.C., who was one of the first ones against it?
Let's see, Greg Connolly, Kassaw. I can keep naming names because I've talked to a bunch of them.
That you talked to that told you flat out they were against it.
Kassaw and Greg Connolly straight off the bat.
Remember?
And you too.
I told you I was flat out against a march on Washington. And I'm telling you, and if you watch that video, what did I say? That's the kind of stuff we need now. We need that movement.
Well, you also got to realize the march on Washington is also, you got to be careful of what you do because you have to notify certain individual authorities, because there are I do believe there's 4 to 7 different authorities in Washington, and a lot of the places that you march on, you would have to notify them that you're coming, depending on the amount of people that you get, and also if it's over a certain amount of people, you would also have to pull a permit as well in order to protest on Capitol grounds.
True.
Yeah. And you have to watch out which area you patrol, because some of them are patrolled by are patrolled by the DC police. Some are White House authorities. So
so what?
Yeah. So we could do it if people. But yeah, that would be a great idea. But it's just getting the people to go there is the process. Because in order to make a good turnout, we would need a good bit of people. Because I've seen several protests go up there that just did nothing.
Take our life.
But I think if it was well organized and well put up together, a bunch of people would show up, along with the opposite side that would be anti-protesting us at the same time.
Exactly, and I'm going to put a video up here for the people that are watching on YouTube that actually, as soon as I can find it, browser source. Actually, no, that's not what I want. Cancel. Add. Keep talking while I get this figured out.
Well, yeah, we could do the March on Washington, be fine, but would be a hassle, of course. But the deal though is that I believe that if we actually got the right people, and we actually got the stuff together, we could probably make it. The issue being that can you get the people to actually pay attention? Can you get them there? So on and so forth. Fortunately, the whole East Coast is about the length of California, so it's not that big of a deal. And if you're east of the Mississippi, it's not that big of a deal to get there. Whereas
that they may take our lives,
hold on,
but they'll never take our freedom.
What are you doing?
I put up the one video that I love about that, which I couldn't show to you guys, but it's the video from Braveheart about they can take our lives, but they can't take our freedom.
Yeah, but they can, and they have been.
They can and they have been slowly by violating
But that's the type of
our
movement we
amendment
have to
rights.
get. We have to get that fire, that passion for the industry like he had right there. Saying that they can take our lives, but they can't take our freedom. Because I'm just saying, that's what we need, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But like Steve was saying, is yeah, we do need that, but the point is getting the people to stand up and go to these events as well. If we can get a good group to actually organize this and get the word out and get the people to go, then it would be great. It would be something that we do need, because then they'd be like, wow, look at all these people out here gathering and look at what they're trying to stand for. Maybe we need to reconsider this. But the problem is you have so many groups and so many people that are for this part and for this thing and for this thing that none of them are all agreeing with each other. So getting all and sadly, we would need some of those groups and their members to help organize. I mean, even if we don't need, even in true reality, we really wouldn't need them at all, because if you think about it, if we build a strong enough, if we get a good solid movement going in order to start this march, then it only takes a couple big YouTubers to promote it, and then boom, the people will show. We wouldn't need all these organizations, really.
Honestly, let's be flat out honest, and I said this in a sense in the video that I did. What is the difference between us, Planned Parenthood, aka pro-abortion, or I'm trying to think of another big movement in America? You know what? Or the gay rights movement. What is the biggest difference between those three movements and us?
Intelligence.
Well, other than that,
Leadership.
they have one organization, NRA, one organization that runs everything, and everybody follows what that organization wants.
They also got really good leadership that don't do a whole bunch of infighting within each other.
And do you know what the other thing is? A lot of those organizations, when they first got started, they did not have everybody working there that were quote unquote for the cause. They had, and see, that's the big part that, in my personal opinion, this industry, excuse my wording, effing sucks at. We go after every single person that is not a direct vapor just because they're trying to help us. Bottom line, we go after them just because they don't do what we do. But if they have the knowledge, we need to take their knowledge and soak it in.
Exactly, and that's where it's wrong, because us vapors already know what it's about. We already know the FDA rule and the FDA gaming regulations rule. We already see what's happening. We already were hoping for something to come along and just change everything. What people that don't know is the ones that don't vape. Is the ones that still smoke, the non-smokers, the smokers. They're the ones that are getting brainwashed with all these bad information. Like the other day, I was an old former roommate that I used to live with. Her nephew came down to visit. He seen me vaping on my mom. He's like, why are you sucking on that thing? You know it's gonna blow up in your face, right? I'm like, actually, no, it's not. If you took the time to listen to me, and I can educate you a little bit, you'll understand. But with that attitude that you have, and right off the bat, you obviously don't care. He's like, I don't want to care because all I see is bad. All I see is nothing but bad news about him. I'm like, oh well, then let me educate you. He didn't want to listen. So
exactly.
Some people are stuck in their ways where they believe everything that the media throws at them, which is good. With sometimes they put out relatively good news. Most of the time they put out bullshit.
Now, I will say this. Tonight, I had a perfect opportunity, just like you're talking about. And it was actually, I kind of, in a way, work myself into it, but I was at work and, I'm getting ready to transport a patient, and we're talking about that we do think that his family was doing stuff. They were all about their makeup. Women are all about their makeup. And I was like, I'm a lot like that when it comes to vaping. And one of the women that was there, she was like, ooh, you vape? That's just as bad as smoking. I'm like, actually, and it gave me a perfect opening, and I explained, that the Royal College of Physicians, who actually said that smoking causes cancer, way before the FDA said it, or the cancer institutes here in America said that it was 95% safer than the traditional cigarette. And flat out, she was like, wow, you've done your research. I bow down to that. Someone that actually will research and will give you facts. That's what we have to do. We have to, when we get those positions open, we have to be willing to step up and say, look, this is the facts behind it. And if they listen, they listen. If they don't, they don't. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
Very true.
Yep.
I mean, you haven't hardly chimed in tonight, Steve. You were all up for this one.
Well, I got some crap going on right now I'm trying to deal with, but let me just tell these guys what's up.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We don't fully take advantage of every chance that we have to speak up about vaping. And that is part of the vapor's fault. The other fault falls on the actual vape shops, because the vape shops don't all go all out for the movement. I'm going to, from now on, never use the advocacy word again. I'm going to probably always use movement anymore, because they don't follow going for the movement. They go for, okay, you don't want to hear about it, so I'm not going to talk to you about it, because you may not come back in this store ever again. I mean...
And some of these groups have their own personal agenda. You got to look at it. They have their own personal agenda, their own set goal. It might not be what everybody else wants, but it's what they want.
I don't really know about that. I mean, I don't want to bag on any of the groups. I just don't think they do much. I mean, yeah, they work. They do what they have to do. They break their balls, and it's hard to make any kind of wave, because you're fighting against ridiculous money. I mean, it's the guy. The hell's the name of the guy? The
You talking about Alex?
No, I'm talking about the guy that ran the Trump campaign, that ran the Reagan campaign, that got Buchanan to go to the Reform Party so he could blow it up. The misinformation guy. Get me John Fox. John. Get me. What's the guy's name? The political.
I forget.
It's the political guy. Anyway, this guy is the guy, right? And if you want to do things, politic wise, he's the guy. And he's pro marijuana. He's pro gay rights. He's Republican. He's down for the conservative parties, and he's behind Trump getting elected, and he's been he was part of Nixon. He does this. He's got Nixon on his back, and he's a big muscular dude. Anyway, that guy, he basically says, "Look, man, I'm the guy that started all this pro lobbying stuff. I'm the guy that can set this crap up and get it dialed in. And if you want to do something, if you want to win, you call me." So I mean, if we're going to play with these big boys, I don't understand why 3 or 4 or 5 of these guys, or this right to be organization with the Japanese or the Chinese, with the Asian manufacturers that have a lot of money. I don't understand. We know some certain American companies that have pretty good amounts of money. I don't understand why they just don't get with the program and say, look, forget paying your wages and forget doing all this crap and forget you're full-time Safada or you're full-time Kasar or whatever the hell you think you are. Let's take all the dues, all the money, everything we have, and some donations from some big hitters, and then, anybody else that wants to kick down. And let's hire this dude and get him in there and just do it politically. Because obviously they're not listening to the science. It doesn't really matter.
No.
I mean, we've been knowing that the cigarettes are bad for us and everything like this since 1976. And, all of a sudden it went from being a bad habit to an addiction and all this kind of crazy crap, talking about it's more addicted than heroin and all this kind of crazy stuff that, it's just a bunch of bullshit. And, I mean, I just keep saying that all the time because I want everybody to realize, are you kidding me? You've never met a heroin addict if you think the nicotine's more addictive than heroin. And I mean, and we know it's not, because you can have a former smoker that's quit, go get nicotine treatments for a gastric ulcer, and they get, injected with nicotine more than they've ever had before. They don't go back to smoking.
Exactly.
So there's all this kind of business. There's whole books and everything on how nicotine may not be as addictive as everybody thinks it is. It doesn't meet the DSM standards for being an addiction. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I got 300 papers on this stuff. I got books on it. Everything's in the library. You can find it. I even have, if you go to the public Dropbox, you can get the Mandalay fucking stuff now. It's all in there. But anyway, you can download it for yourself. You can do anything you want. Anyway, it's just not really. I'm not buying it. And I mean, why don't we use some huge badass strategies? Mm-hmm. We can't afford. We can't buzz anybody. Call the guy. And I started thinking, well, maybe I'd have to call the guy. But I mean, like we have a guy who's very vocal in the world, in our world, and has similar viewpoints as we do. And he runs a big, pretty successful circuit and does some things like that. And I'm thinking, dude, why don't you just take everything that you made at the shows and kick it? Well, because he can't, because that's what he does full time. He has to have a living. He got, I mean, there's all that shit. I understand, but like, charge a little more at the door.
I'm sure he's not cheap either. But you know what? If that's what but our freedom.
You charge a little more at the door. You know what I mean? Like you let people in for free, but I mean, it's still $1,500 or $2,000 for the booth. So I mean, charge a little more. I mean, we know that these organizations way back 2-3 years ago were making bank when you had to pay $2,000 for a 10 by 10, and then you get a 10 by 10 booth, $2,000, and and then all the paying $50 to get there, and then you have to pay your ticket. I mean, there's all kind of shit. So when it comes right down to it, people were making big money and they were hitting it and quitting it. Now you got people that still are firing out juice and firing off mods at ridiculous prices. We know it's ridiculous prices, and they don't really care, and they're still coming. And how many more times does someone need to say, "Look, man, you can't put your shit in a cereal box anymore and call it Fruity Tooty Poopies"?
No, you can't.
Okay, blueberries and stupid shit like that, and Choculas and Draculas and all this crazy ass shit, Godzillas and all this stuff, right? Because Godzilla, I mean, I don't give a fuck. It could be the coolest, green apple bullshit flavor you can ever come up with. But if you do that, they're coming sideways at us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't give a crap if you're the next one-hit wonder guy and you made $20 million in 1 year. What about a dude that doesn't have a backup plan?
Exactly.
This is my backup plan. What am I supposed to do?
Exactly. Some mom and pop shops.
I can't even get the damn. I mean, I don't have a gimmick, so local shops don't really want to pick me up. So it's a bunch of crap. So here we are, busting our balls. You got a few people that are saying, what the hell? Right? Of course, if we all of a sudden just got organized and did it ourselves, well, we'd have our own people trying to shoot us in the foot. Right? Because
I mean, here's a perfect example, okay? I know it's going to start some issues mentioning it, but look at how much people are shooting the EVCA in the foot. Yes, They've got a questionable lawyer, but you know what? These people that are getting involved, one is a vapor, but they've both been involved in politics for years.
I donated to him.
I mean, let's be flat out honest about this. The EBCA came out with a new direction for the vaping industry with Duncan Hunter. And people go after them just over that lawyer. You know, in my honest opinion, that legislation, and I know I'm going to get some hate over this from especially convicted if they see this, flat out, that legislation is the best legislation we have seen in a while. It's flat out, because here's the way I'm looking at it. And I'm going to tell everybody, you know, when I put that video out a couple nights ago, it was all over a certain, you know what, I'm going to just flat out say it. It was all over CASA coming flat out and telling people, do not support the EVCA. We do not trust their strategy. Well, here's the thing. Who are you to say anything? Your strategy has failed.
Exactly.
Three times it has failed.
It hasn't worked for shit, has it?
We have 1136, which I do still support it. You know, I support anything to help vaping. But to be flat out honest with you, I don't see it going anywhere, because it took a year and a half, actually about a year, for 2058 to even hit the floor. It took a little over a year for 2058 to even hit the floor. Yeah. To be out of committee. And with it taking about a year, that brings us to next year, 2018. We need something else. We need a new strategy that has not been tried, because 1136, 2058, and Cole Bishop Amendment are basically the same exact freaking thing. Bottom line, they're basically the exact same thing. Why you keep throwing up three different bills, in a sense, an amendment and two bills that basically say the exact fucking thing? Excuse my language, I'm getting pissed.
Roger Stone is the guy we need to call.
Who?
Roger Stone.
Okay. I'm going to do some research on him.
And, I mean, look at the incompetence. I'm going to come flat out and say it, of our advocacy organizations. When they have a gold mine at the tip of their fingertips in Dave that was on last week. They have a gold mine in him. Being formerly the Winston Man, a big name in cigarettes. And now, out for us. Why? You know, I'm going to be flat out honest. The first time I heard about him was from Josh's over on Vapors TV. And then I didn't hear another word about him until just after Foxwoods, when Vapor's Voice had him on their show, had a episode for him.
Yep, and they, I do believe they just had, he was just down in Mobile, Alabama with Cyclops Vapors. They just had him on their show. They spent the whole week with them, flew him down there, and they just got done before the show watching Cyclops Unchained, where they had him on there again, talking as well.
I mean, he is a gold mine for us, and we don't take advantage of that. And I don't understand how incompetent someone can be to not take advantage of someone that has the knowledge and the reach of him. Flat out honest. Sorry, I know I'm getting very pointed with this, but it's the truth.
Yeah, man.
You've never seen me this upset, Steve. I know you haven't.
No, but I mean, I love that you are. I mean, it's important because, I mean, that's the issue, right? We're screwed.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell everybody flat out, within a couple weeks, I'm still in conversations with them. Right now, they're being held up because of meetings and things like that, because of where they're doing the California consulting that they did in Heartland.
This Roger Stone guy, his net worth is about $20 million. I can imagine how much he gets paid to lobby.
What they did in Heartland,
yeah.
working on something in California right now, and because of that, it's causing some issues getting them on the show. But I'm still working to get Mark, Linda, and Larry Flick, who actually works for Duncan Hunter, on the show one night in the next month or so.
That'd be cool.
So they're going to call me, and we're going to arrange that.
Yeah, one Google search of this Roger Stone guy will tell you everything you would need to know about him.
He's badass. Look at the Stone Zone.
Yeah, I've pulled it up. It came up that came up on the Google search history along with his net worth and everything else. I'm like, oh, okay.
And flat out, we need to take the approach of Morton Blackwell. For any of you that don't know who Morton Blackwell is, he was Reagan's youth coordinator during the 1980 campaigns.
Stone got him elected, bro.
Yeah.
This guy's Roger Stone was with Nixon. He was at 9.
Restarting it. Okay, never mind. It says, okay, we're connected again.
He's been noted for his opposition research and usually for candidates for Republicans. He's about 65 years old now.
Yeah, he is.
And just so you know, Steve, we're having a screwy time tonight with the feed. I don't know why.
Well, I wonder why. The return of JH has returned. The internet is going to crash.
Well, no. I'm just saying, it's crazy shit.
But, I mean, that's the honest truth. And the reason I say Morton is because his techniques have gotten more people than you can even imagine elected.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm knowing. And I'm telling you, you gotta check out this guy Roger Stone, dude.
Oh, I will.
He's a dude, dude.
Every neighborhood has that one house where all the kids hang out.
Yeah.
He's a dude. Like this dude right here is the dude.
I've looked him up right here, and then what I'm reading,
I love that.
He seems like a solid. He seems like a solid, viable option that we should look into.
And let me tell you, the cool thing about the dude is if he thinks, what you're into is good, like he just got up and marched for gay rights because he believes in them, right? Guy ain't gay. He's got 2 wives and shit. He's not gay. So like he's not even trying. And so here's this dude that gets out there, that marches because he believes in it. He's pro marijuana. He's all this kind of stuff. And he's been interviewed by like Playboy Penthouse and all that stuff. And I mean, he basically got rid of the Reform Party because we got screwed when Perot took the votes, and so he got rid of them by putting Buchanan there. He's a master of misinformation. He says it himself. He says, I don't play to lose. I play hardball. He goes, I don't try to say anything that isn't right. I just say what I think I know. You know what I'm saying? And he knows how to do it. He knows how to get people he's the one that's like, lock her up, right? He was there with the dude from that big old chunky guy that does the other one, InfoWars. Uh-huh. He was in Cleveland with the guy from InfoWars. I mean, this guy don't play, and he shows up to black tie affairs and like patent leather slippers and stuff. This guy ain't playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, he's a baller. I mean, he's homies with Trump. Homies, not just kind of, sort of. So I'm thinking that the guy likes the underdogs, and I'm thinking he likes the challenges. I think someone ought to get a quote on how much it costs to get his services on this. I mean, first off, what if we call him? What if somebody gets old? I mean, this email's right there. I can email him. What if I write him a letter and the dude actually says, I'm down?
Yeah.
Dude, if he says he's down and he says he'd do it for like, 20 grand or 30 grand or 50 grand or something like that, I'm certain we could probably get that kind of money.
And I'm going to be flat out honest, and I know I'm going to get some vape shop hate for what I'm about ready to say. something Stephen Taylor said really hits me in the heart with what he said. And that's that, we're fighting the federal government and we have to stay away from marijuana since it is a federal felony. I agree with that. And here's the thing. Vape shops, in my personal opinion, should not be selling herbal vaporizers.
Hey.
I mean...
I'm like, hey.
because of the industry. And Josh, I know you disagree with it. Because I know your background. But...
Well, I'm not certain I agree with that as much as I
I'm not saying I disagree with CBD. I'm just saying I disagree with actual vaporizers.
An owner has to stay open.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know. What do you do?
If one product's selling better than the other, of course he's going to sell.
What are you going to say? Oh, you can't do that because you want to you're feeding your family too. I mean, the shame of it is that if it's a federal crime, and I mean I know it is, I'm just wondering why it's such a pain in the butt to stop them when they can come sideways on us.
Yeah.
I mean, how come if it's such a big deal, why aren't they busting these places?
Exactly.
I agree with you.
Because it's not a big deal because they're making tons and tons and tons of money off of it. So they don't give a crap about that. See, it's nothing about what's right and what's wrong. It's nothing about what's better or what's worse. It's none of that shit. Mm-hmm. It's 60 billion versus 2 billion.
Yeah.
Well, dude, the 60 billion versus 2 billion, we're losing.
Yeah.
Unless we can get some mastermind, they can get somebody like Trump elected. You fucking kidding me?
Important man says, yeah, that's a way of vaping. It kind of can fall into vaping.
It doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. It doesn't matter if it's better than fucking smoking a blunt or fucking better than fucking.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day.
No one gives a flying fuck about that.
No. At the end of the day, that shop is putting money on their table one way or the other, and that's what it's.
But the law doesn't give a fuck about that. Is what I'm saying. The regulations don't give two flying fucks about it. They're going to disguise, oh, we're doing this for your safety. We're going to put all this misinformation out ourselves, and we need a mastermind at that shit on our side, and we don't have anyone because the people fighting come in properly, right? And they don't fight fire with fire. They come in with they don't make, it's such a huge legislation, right? It's state, it's countrywide. It's not fucking statewide. Statewide, you can just go to your state rep. You can beat their balls in, and you get a couple of your friends that live in different counties. You go beat their balls in, and you could probably do some decent stuff, provided that you're not living in, California. Now, in California, we really can't do any of that shit because we got these huge Democrats with huge tax bases in places like San Francisco and, fucking LA, shit like this, right? So it's really hard here. But nationwide, if we had someone that was a real gunner and knew how to change people's attitudes and how to put shit out and how to find out shit and actually put it out there, boom. Right? Like this dude, I'm telling you, we need somebody like this dude. And I might write an email tonight. Who knows? Because, here's the deal. If we get this guy and he's down for it, but he likes to do his thing, man. He's a connoisseur of fine ladies and fine wines and fine get downs. And the motherfucker is crazy. And he's just a few years older than me. So he's younger than my parents, and my parents are only 20 years older than me. So he might actually be like, where the hell you guys, why haven't you asked me yet? Now he might shine it off and he might never answer. He might say it's all a bunch of bullshit. Doesn't really fucking matter. You don't have enough money. But he might be able to help us. This guy can leak out shit and get shit out. He's friends with Assange. I mean, this dude knows some stuff. He gets out there and can get Hillary just like everybody wants to put her in jail. Like right now. The dude that's behind all the crazy ass misinformation is alive. And he's an American. He speaks English. He's not Russian. He's not Italian. He's not French. He's from America. I mean, dude, how are you going to be Barry Goldwater, talking about, everybody, man, talking about Nixon, talking about Ford, talking about, everything, man, talking about Reagan twice, talking about Senior, talking about Junior, talking about, Trump. Dude, the dude got Trump elected. I'm just saying. Dude, Trump is like just not a politician. And this guy gets him elected. Now, whether, he didn't win the popular vote, but he won the electoral college. And you know what? That's all you got to do. And if you don't like it, tough shit, move to a different country. The point of the matter is, if we didn't like it, California and New York would win every damn election then, right? So it doesn't really matter. We'd have freaking socialists in there if California voters could pick it. So this guy's a stud. Why hasn't anybody gotten at him? Why hasn't anybody gotten at Dave Gorlitz like we talked about earlier? Why hasn't anybody called these people? Why don't you ask, why don't, when we talk to all these big studs over this past year, when a man with a PhD has said to them, look, I can read faster, write more efficiently and effectively than anybody you know, and I'm on your side. And in my spare time, I've accumulated 300 papers and books and reports and all this shit. It's available right here. Look what I did overnight when I wrote this e-cigs versus smoking for the Somerset City Council.
Yeah.
Why don't they use me?
Because here's the thing I think it is. My idea is better than yours. Bottom line, that's what this whole going after the EVCA is proving. That they think their ideas, their methods are better than yours.
I'm asking you, tell me what your idea is then, and tell me what you need to have done. And I promise you, I'll do it faster and more efficiently than you people. I'll have that shit goddamn ready to rock and roll. Just tell me what you need to have happen.
Their idea is just moving the predicate date.
Come on. Come up with something better than that. And then tell me what the problem is. And then be honest with me and tell me why we haven't been effective thus far. Why the regs even went into place. Why no one was in there pounding these people saying, you don't know what you're doing because you're totally unaware of what you're opening up here. You're not going to be able to get it done. And that's why you keep pushing it back. It's going to be another fucking year before they get it right. And I already pushed it back another 90 days. I mean, what are they going to hire more people in the 90 days after that? How are they going to do it? They have no budget. What are they going to do? Well, seriously, what's the plan? I haven't heard a good plan anywhere. And I don't know what's up with Larry's case. I haven't heard anything about it. I know that some people in Colorado are looking at the legalities of misrepresentation of your product, and like what's up with that. And I got to find some legislation on that. There's got to be something out there that says it's illegal to misrepresent your shit.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, I don't know, but there's got to be something. And aside from like slander and libel and shit like that, right? Which is pretty much what, on a general scope of things, what they're doing to us. How can you have some people working in a hospital? I don't care if they're orderlies. I don't care if they're working in the cafeteria, janitors. How can they sit there and think that smoking combustible product is the same dangers as vaping? Are you out of your mind? Inherently, it looks safer, does it not?
True.
Okay, so inherently it looks safer. Inherently, you don't see any tobacco in any of this, right? Tobacco is the plant. Tobacco has leaves. We dry them out. We put a bunch of fucking rat poisoning on them. We roll them in this little shitty paper, put a little cotton at the end of it. We call it a cigarette pack, 20 in a fucking box. And we say, here's a pack of cigarettes, right? We add shit to it to keep you fucking into it, right? We put all these little catalysts and all this fucking bullshit in there. We know that the nicotine gets to you better in the cigarettes than it does even in this. We know that you get like 1 milligram absorption, total in the cigarette. You get like a little less than one of these. You know that you got to do more of this to meet the cigarette. All the fucking shit, right? We know that the closed confines and all the studies show that there's not much risk. And then, of course, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'll have some study come up and say, oh, we found heavy metals in this bullshit. But they don't ever tell you how that relates to OSHA and NIOSH and any of these standards. And when you look at the standards, again, all there in my PDF library, all that shit's there, you can actually see what the fuck's going on. And there's nothing to be afraid of. So if there's nothing to be afraid of, and now all of a sudden, we're nanny states to the point where you've got a trip on how much I'm doing to myself. What about the kid that just died from drinking too much caffeine the other day?
Yeah, exactly.
What are we doing about that? I mean, where's the nanny-crats and all the Democrats and all you liberals out there watching this bullshit, thinking voting for the right guy person, not voting for Hillary and all this fucking shit?
It's double standards.
Where's your asses blasting on Monster right now?
It's double standards. A lot of the things that our Republicans are doing right now that are in office, the Democrats got caught doing the same thing years ago, but yet nobody said nothing when they did it.
It's all bullshit like that. That's what's cracking. That's exactly right. So they're screwing us over. They don't really care. I mean, there's a damn commercial on California TV now that's basically having all these kids look at all these pretty packages of e-liquid and snuffs and all this stuff, and they're saying, "Oh, this one smells like, this one looks like jelly beans and all this kind of crazy shit." And people still make the packages like that. And of course, the shops are still going to sell it. They still buy it by the boatload.
I bet you all that shit was scripted too. Those kids were probably told.
Dude, the kids are, there's the kids all sitting around the table and they got all the shit laid out there and they're smelling it and they're jerking around and they're talking about how awesome it all smells and how it all good and they want to eat it and all this dumb shit. And so they're saying that we're attracting these kids. Now, of course, my gimmick is no gimmick. So I don't know really what's up. And I can't get it. I can't get sales like we used to have because I don't have a fucking box with a, tricky fucking bullshit monster on the side of it or some shit like that.
You don't have tens of thousands of dollars to go to every vape convention.
Well, I mean, dude, even if I did, I wouldn't have done that.
No, I mean, all these big companies have all this money to go to every vape convention, and they give away tens of thousands of bottles of free product a year.
But when we started, we still had money, right? So when we started, we could have marketed tickets and put it in boxes and done crazy ass shit and had black bottles and painted them in crazy crap like that. But we went with the clear bottles because we wanted people to see the liquid, right? Because everybody wanted to see the liquid. We only went with plastic at the 15s and 30s because it was, well, no, it wasn't actually. It was because a couple points in time, that's all we could get. And then a 3 milligram and a 5 milligram, the 5 mil and the 3 mil, they only came in plastic, right? So to get a glass like that was just didn't work with the dripper and stuff like that. But anyway, point being is that we had plastic since pretty much like day one. It wasn't day one, maybe month 3 or something like that. But I mean, the point is the glass is cheaper than plastic. And glass does not, the other guy, that crazy ass dude, he's right on it. It doesn't seep in. There's only certain plastic you can use and all this kind of stuff. No one cares anymore, right? No one cares. You can give it. If it's a cool looking bottle and some Dripco or some freak no or Joe no or Blow no or whatever the fuck no or whatever the hell they got some tricky little thing and it's a one of them Cosmo bottles or it's a pointy tip bottle and everybody's happy about it and it's the one that all the pro vapors are using. Who cares? Right? All you got to do is have one guy into it and you're good, right? But we, on the other hand, are stuck fighting that bullshit against the hype. It's the same hype that the regulatory opponents of ours are thrown back in our face. No one's doing anything about it. No one cares. Shops think they do, but they still sell it. Now, certain shops don't, apparently, or so they claim. I haven't been in those shops, because there's only about 10 of them that I ever see say they don't carry it, don't sell them. But I mean, pretty much they all do. And what are you going to do? I mean, until they stop buying it and go back to buying, the legit companies that aren't trying to screw around and are doing the kind of labels that won't get us in trouble, what are you going to do? I mean, what are you going to do?
Exactly. You're not.
Well, so if we don't do ourselves right, we keep shooting our asses off by selling shit in Cracker Jack boxes and stupid shit like this, and coming up with all this kind of nuts. What are we gonna do? We ain't gonna do shit.
Why are we throwing stuff in the harbor? Somebody said.
Well, I'm down. I mean, but I mean, the point is what are you gonna do? You can't. What are you gonna do? Throw some company that's making $20 million this year? I mean, what do you do? And let's face it, all the juice is the same. I mean, one guy's shit that tastes like gasoline is another guy's favorite, and so on and so forth, right? It's like anything. I mean, there's certain things I don't like that other people love. There's certain things I love that other people don't like. So what are you gonna do? Everybody's got a different taste. Regionally, you can be popular and you can't get love anywhere else but the region. But it's good because how can everybody in the region like it? And then when you send your shit over to the far southeast and the dude likes it, and then you send it to the middle of the country and the dude likes it, and then you send it up in the upper Midwest and they like it, but you can't get a shop to buy it. So because you don't have the national hype, you don't have the international hype, you don't buy $20,000 worth of advertising in Vape magazine. I mean, come on, man, it's a bunch of shit. And the only way they could do that is because they probably knew the editor and then they got in on it early, right? And they paid a little bit of money to get it going, and they got the deal, and then they both benefited, and here we are. But I mean, what do you do when you're just trying to start your stuff and now you're getting hammered by the legislation? I mean, I just got hammered by the legislation here in the state to the point where that cost me about what it costs to go to a show, local show, $4,500, and that was just to get taxed every month. So until we get somebody seriously like Roger Stone, or somebody that is a real badass. I'm not talking about, some pseudo badass. I'm talking about an ex bullshit, fuck boy that did whatever. No. Not talking about some computer geek that turned legislator or some lobbyist. I'm not talking about some kid that never vaped, smoked nothing, but thought it was crazy. And, a billion lives could be saved and had enough money to make a movie. That couldn't even get shown out here in my neighborhood, because even though one of the guys tried to sponsor that I know, he only sold like 20 seats, and I think I bought 10 of them, or committed to 10 of them. So I mean, and I didn't know who I would take. And so if we can't even sell out a billion lives, and we can't get anybody to pay attention to the science, and all we keep getting hit with is smoke-free coalitions and all this kind of bullshit, tobacco-free and all this shit, and we keep getting the advertisements and the propaganda that they keep pushing out.
Well, the only problem with some reason why a lot of the people were not buying tickets to the movie is because we live in a society these days where people will rather wait for it to come out and then illegally pyrite it for free and not have to pay for shit.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but see, that's the problem, right? So they're just so people say, I mean, I asked some honest, hard questions at different social groups and stuff a couple of weeks ago, and I have to put the answers still together and do some thematic analysis of it. But I mean, what I found was people think, when I ask people, do you want to see all the juices available? Like, would you like to go into a shop and have all the juices available? And many of the people said, well, if they're good, okay, whatever. I mean, if they're good, what the fuck is good? Is good. I mean, like, I'm telling you, you can make cat piss taste pretty good if you put enough sweetener in it.
What's good to you might not be good to somebody else.
Absolutely, right?
Exactly.
So what's good? Oh, if it's made in a quality lab and they have insurance and this kind of shit. Really?
How do you know if it's made in a quality lab?
Well, here's the deal. You know, you self-police yourself for Amazon. You self-police yourself and all this kind of bullshit. And if you don't, it's just like a restaurant. If you don't, and you get enough complaints and there's bullshit going on, people will come and they'll look at your shit and they'll give you a warning. You can either fix it right there or you have to fucking, you know, you'll go out of business for a month or so until you get your shit together. Yep. No one's going to go out of business.
I'm going to quote Beauty. All this is because of the hashtag free shit crew.
To be honest, I do believe the worst idea they could have did was putting billion lives on the internet for people to buy and purchase. I'm not going to say that only because one, it was a good idea, it's a good thought for people to put it on there, but all it took was one person to buy it, and then guess what? You just started an illegal downloading session.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have one of those, but I mean, at the same time, I also paid for it on Amazon and watched it because it never came to my neighborhood.
Exactly.
But I mean, the point being is what I mean. I haven't shared it, but what are you going to do?
Exactly. I mean, not everybody's going to go out there and share it. There are going to be those honest people, but there's going to be people out there that are going to buy it and go, "Oh, we're going to put it on this sharing site and this torrent site and this torrent site," and by that time, everybody's done seen it and they didn't pay a dime for it.
Yeah.
There goes your profit. Congratulations, you just spent all.
Well, I mean, I mean, and you can argue that's why Metallica hated Napster and all that shit. But I mean, the point is that until we fight fire with fire, I mean, why is there, like, I try to ask, you know, my federal folks. Of course, I have Kamala Harris because Boxer's out, right? She used to be the AG here. She's the one that wrote the whole note on the flavors. I got fucking Feinstein, got Pelosi, I got fucking Colonel, right? Now the Colonel, he's a Republican. I voted for him because, you know, he was in some biker stuff. He did righteous. I can't even get that son of a bitch's staff to answer my phone calls.
Well, you got Pelosi and Feinstein, and Feinstein's so crooked and crooked.
Well, I got Harris, who's our old AG, right? So I got Harris, Pelosi, Feinstein, and freaking
Boxer, is she still around?
Kamala Harris took her spot.
Oh, okay.
She retired. So Boxer's gone. But I mean, the point is the women hate the vaping.
Yeah.
The guy, he won't listen. And, you know, he's in a state that's where the two senators are Democrat. He's a federal rep, and he's Republican. He's got the eastern portion of California. Like, if you look out the major freeway that goes from LA to like Palm Springs and over to like Tempe, Phoenix, he goes up in this portion almost up to Mammoth. Right, it's like 350 miles. It's like the high desert area, right? It's not like a hit place to live in California. Right, where I live in California is not like movie stars and beach and shit. I live in the desert. You know, we got sand and palm trees and like one color brown, you know? So it's not hip. So he's just like a punk. Now he's a colonel, so lieutenant colonel, whatever the hell he was. So I mean, he's cool and all that business. But I mean, he's not listening. And so no one, and it doesn't really matter because that isn't what any of the legislation is about. It's not about saving us, not about making us healthier. It's not about doing anything, but why do they hate us? I'm saying because they were worried about it becoming a $20 billion industry, and they saw smoking falling off, and that master settlement agreement monies were beginning to spend. I mean, you can look it up, and you can see that California doesn't spend any of the money that they get pretty much. I mean, it's like they spend like 27% of it and they get the most. I'm in New York, get the most. And they're the two worst at allocating the money to keep people from smoking. So we've used it to build bridges. We've used it to build infrastructure. We've done all this dumb shit with it. So why do they hate us? I think that's why. Like, you start chopping off a $50 billion industry and you start talking about it coming down to 40 or 30 and the other one going up to 15 or 17 or 20 in 3-4 years when this other one's been around for like, what, 100?
Yeah. Now, see, I actually have an idea. Beauty gave me an idea, but I'm going to change it up a little bit because, she had mentioned about, that we needed to have 1 billion lives being sold at a smaller cost on disc so that we could hand it out to smokers. Well, why not do this? Because of where you were talking about how so many vapors have not, don't want to go out there and buy 1 billion lives. Why don't we just get our vape shops off their ass and have a special 1 billion lives night, offer a certain percentage off of the cost of, say, 10% to 20% off e-liquid, because you and I know, Steve, a vape shop can give 10 to 20% and it not even affect the e-liquid cost. Offer a 10 to 20% off discount and then say, okay, we're offering this to you, but you have to come watch 1 billion lives with us and bring a smoker.
Huh.
That way a smoker can watch 1 billion lives, see the difference that gets the smoker inside the vape shop, and that gives an incentive to the vapor to bring a smoker or just to come by themselves and watch the movie. That way you're giving the people something more than just renting the movie. I mean, I watched it because of my side when it comes to advocacy / wanting to get the movement kicking, which, for Beauty and Julie, I am no longer using the word advocacy. I am now using the word movement in place, because advocacy should, honestly, it's not needed that way. And honestly, that is what we need. Bottom line. We need shops stepping in and having people come in. Hell, you offer pizza, you'll get anybody in that building. You offer pizza, donuts, and maybe something else, you'll have a place full. And you can offer money. You can say, okay, it's free to come in, but you get this amount off e-liquid or this amount off stuff on the shelves.
Perhaps.
You give a little bit to your consumers and get them in the door. Because I'll be honest, I couldn't go see the movie because, 1, I was working. 2, they only showed 2 showings. They showed one in Pittsburgh and one in Philly. I couldn't go to either one because it was always on a Friday, Saturday, or Thursday night. I was either at the vape shop or at my other job. Bottom line.
Yeah. I didn't even have that kind of option, but yeah. I mean, yeah. And I went when I was going when it was offered, and it was close and it never made it. So what am I supposed to do?
And Josh, just so you know, if you want to watch it, it's on Amazon.
I know. Trust me. I know it's on Amazon.
So he's talking about the other Josh.
No, I was talking about him.
Oh, all right.
He hasn't seen 1 billion lives yet.
You gotta realize, I took a long break from the vape community and stopped vaping and just disappeared. That time when I got off YouTube and disappeared, I quit vaping completely. I stopped. I didn't go back to smoking. I just completely quit and just walked away from everything because I had I'm not going to go into why I did, but the path that I went down to was not a good path, and it took a while for me to come back.
Yeah.
Hey, and we're just glad to have you back, honestly.
Well, I had to make some life decision changes in order to come back. So, unfortunately, it was for the better.
Well, good.
And you know, Jamie, that's John Sheets. For any of you that doesn't know, Jamie, I'm glad you finally rented it. You know, I'm hoping it was very opening. It opened your eyes because, you know, even me being so into the movement, it even opened my eyes to some things that I really didn't see.
Yep.
I mean, I've been involved in the movement for years, and there were things that opened my eyes to. So that's why I think it would be good, that idea of doing it in a vape shop, offering people pizza. Do something to get the people in just to watch the movie.
If they pick up my line, I'll buy the pizza. There it is, man. I'll buy the pizza for any shop, and fund the Netflix purchase or the Amazon purchase of the movie for them to show on their shop TV. As long as they order, you know, over let's say they order an order over $75.
There you go, everybody. For anybody that watches and has a shop, if you want to do this, Steve is offering you a way to do it. So they get great price. They get plenty of money, plenty of product for their money, and they'll. It's not like they're losing. And I'll kick down pizza and you know, like shit, man. I'll kick down like 10 large from Little Caesars and the price of the movie. Okay, there you go. And that's a good deal. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, and they'll make money off of it because they'll have people in there, and you know, they can do the thing, and you know, and I'll even send them hype shit. You know, I'll even help them design a flyer for it and all that good shit. And then put it on the websites, put it on all the social media, do all that business if they want.
There you go. But I mean, honestly, this is the type of stuff we need for the community. We need this stuff to get a movement started. We need more people to see these things, more people to understand. Sorry, a lot of people think I'm Italian because I talk with my hands, and I'm not.
I'm Italian.
I'm not Italian, but I talk with my hands. I can't help it.
Hey, why you think I got one of these down below? You don't see it in camera. Because if not, you're gonna be seeing my hands moving all over the place. You watch my videos. You see my hands constantly moving. I'm not Italian either, but I got problems with moving in hands. So I gotta have something to occupy my time. So if you don't see me looking at the camera, 9 times out of 10, I'm looking at a fidget spinner.
And honestly, if you ask Dan Cloud, I'm actually considered the political godfather among some people. Because I will treat you just like a Corleone when it comes to politics. I'll cut your neck as quick as I'll help you out.
And why don't we try to actually contact Anonymous?
I've been considering that.
Because good luck trying to find ones that are actually real instead of posers.
Dude, I think they're easier to find than you think.
Well, they're a lot easier to find. Yeah, I mean, it was a group that I was associated with back in the day. I mean, I could find the people that you would need, but it's all about diving back into those chats where illegal activity happens.
Well, I know, but I mean, you could do it.
Oh, it could be done. It's not hard. Those chat rooms I still have access to.
So why don't you just put out there and say, why doesn't someone fight the powers that are bullshitting on tobacco? And I mean, they're always like talking about, if you don't do the right thing, we're gonna fuck you sideways.
No. I mean, they've already some of the senators and some of the people in your state and congressmen that you've already mentioned have already been on their watch list for years. Feinstein, Pelosi, they've already been on their hit list for years for their corruption already.
So what are we doing?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, why don't we use them?
Good point.
Yeah, we need to get it out there to them. I mean, I've been considering sending a little bit of info to them through their YouTube just to see if it would go anywhere.
What's YouTube? There's like at least 3 that I know of.
The official one that says Anonymous Official.
That's ran by their official. That's ran by 3 dudes in California.
Well, why don't we contact them?
If it's still ran by the same people that was running it back then.
Why don't we contact them?
Why don't we? We could.
Well, there's got to be a reason why we haven't.
I think,
True.
because I'll be flat out honest. I had always not wanted to say that I even liked watching their videos. But they are so connected to anarchy that a lot of times it looks bad. But
Okay.
I mean,
I've actually seen vape pictures though of people wearing anonymous masks.
Well, sure, because it was trendy and cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm talking about really using them.
yeah.
It's a good idea. It really is. And see, that's some of the things that people don't think about.
I'll put you in contact, Steve, to a couple people that I know that's now kind of taking their masks off, that are still part of it, that have a good outreach on social media.
That would be tits.
So that I'll talk to my other buddy, which is funny. He shares the same name as you. Kind of funny.
Cool.
So I'll talk to Steve as well and see where he can go from there, because he also does music as well, and rap and does a lot of all his music is involved with corruption and all that stuff. So I'll go through him and see what he can do, because that would be my way back in. And
Wow, plenty of exposure with corruption, so that's no problem.
go from there.
Corruption's my middle name, dude. Like, I'm not even tripping on that. I'm not that doesn't even scare me. Just get it, just make it happen, dude.
Yeah,
Now, I
I'll
have
see
a
what I can do
question
with
for
Steve.
everybody. I really do. And this is something I've been considering, and I just want to know what, my viewers think of this, as well as what you guys think. Because I know, Josh, you and I were talking about this a little bit a couple of nights ago. But what do you think of possibly adding the super chat option to the chat from now on?
If it's done for the right reasons, yes. If it's done for some other reasons where it's not advocacy related, no. And you know what I mean by that.
Yes, I do. The reasons I was considering was doing what I had told you, a 50-50.
Yeah.
50 stays with me, 50 goes to advocacy.
Yeah, I would
And
agree.
what the super chat option is, Steve, is an option for people that are watching. If they want to donate, they can just hit a button and donate money straight that way through YouTube. That's what it is.
Oh. Well, I don't think I'd do 50-50. And we're not hurting for money. I mean,
You have to have
I mean,
1,000
like 50 to
subscribers,
help
I
build
think.
the channel. And, you have to have 1,000. Oh, okay.
I would check
sucks.
into that.
Yeah, that sucks because I would have gladly did that.
Well, I could do it, but I'm not. I'm the topic of much hate.
Yeah. I'm not
Mention my
everybody's
name and
favorite
you get
person
like 80,
anymore
you get
either,
like 20
Josh.
trolls.
I'm not everybody's favorite person anymore either, Josh.
I haven't been a favorite person for a long time. I retire, come back, go comment on somebody's video, and they still remember the shit that happened. I'm like, God dang it, can't you just leave a brother alone?
no.
Can we just forget and move on with this situation now?
Or
It's
what
this
about
bit-
this? What about if I included an email to the PayPal and just did it that way?
Well, I mean, why don't you just put a page on the link? I mean, I have the EVCA or whatever that is link on my website. They can
True.
just go click and go for it. I mean,
Well, I was just saying to help with the channel as well.
well, like, what the hell do we need?
Like getting new cameras, because I want to get a new camera for the channel.
You're gonna get a new camera, and I'm sitting there working on my computer.
I use my iPhone for videos.
That's what I'm saying. Don't even go there, dude. Like,
Because
I'm not even using a laptop.
I spent close to $200 on the lighting and the background, stuff like that.
well, that's because you wanted to.
Yeah.
You wanted to. Dude, I spent all that money on lighting and everything and was using my computer for a while. And then you know what? I decided to go, once I decided to when I came back, I said, I don't need all this lighting no more. I really don't need the computer to do all this no more. I'm just going to keep it simple. Tripod and an iPhone. Boom. All you ever need.
Can't be that hard, as I'm saying, like, come on.
I don't even record with lights anymore. No lights, just iPhone and daylight.
See,
it works.
In this room, I can't do lights because I only have one window. It's right there, and the light in here is so dim, it's crazy.
I got 2 lights in my room. It's called 2 windows.
But you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, I don't think you should use it for personal.
No, that's what I was saying. Is with the super chat or what the donation is if it's going to the good cause and not being used for personal gain, then yeah, that'll have nothing wrong with it.
50-50. That's why I was saying 50, or even 70-30.
I would say like 90-10, if anything.
Okay.
90-10 would be better but I mean, it all depends. I mean, it's up to you on all what you would do. But I mean, if you wanted to donate it more to the cause, then donate as much as you can possible and be transparent with it. That's what
main
people ask.
Main reason I want to do it is I want to track how much donations comes, because I'm telling everybody on here right now, all the sales for for May and June, because I did 2 months for Pennsylvania, May and June, all the sales on Minuteman vapors, the $1 is going to the EBCA.
Hey, by the way, I'm now remembering to say that in my videos. Hey,
good.
You know how many times that I get halfway through the video and go, dang it, I forgot to mention the coupon code, the dollar thing. Fuck it, I've already recorded the whole video. I am not doing it over again.
No, I understand.
But yeah, I mean, that's what the next 2 months are going to. They're going to the EBCA because I wholeheartedly support them. Yes, a lot of people are against them, but I support what they're doing. I support the Duncan Hunter legislation. I support the direction they're taking our advocacy / movement, which it's hard.
As they said against the in the other, that one couple weeks ago on the other channel, whatever it was, What the Fuck Wednesday, it was on a Saturday or a Friday or whatever. And, they said, look.
The Legion Network.
Yeah, so we're not trying to, we're not saying it's the end all be all, but it's a jumping off point anyways, So, like, what's the hassle? I mean, if you don't like it, that's fine, but they're not telling you that you have to like it. They're telling you, give it a shot. And I mean, and what's going to happen? I mean, like, start there. I mean, we have a federal legislator that's behind it. So he probably would be more than willing to listen to us, I mean, just needs to not be some crazy ass, typical representative of the vape community that gets judged by their looks before anybody even, listens.
Exactly. I mean, I hate to say it, but our community is filled with the people that you would never imagine to be taken seriously.
Well, I mean, they don't. I mean, it's the problem, and it takes a lot of people a long time to understand, what is really going on, and if you don't, if you don't believe me that people judge how you look, well, let me tell you about the last 10 years, 15 years of my life, and I'm telling you that you'll get everything from arrested to ridiculous, surveillance, all kind of stuff, just based on like the clothes you wear. So, I mean, if that's happening and people are dealing with this all the time, what do you think anybody's thinking of you when you're sitting there going, oh, I got blue hair, I got mod holders in my ears, because for whatever reason, I think that's cool. Well, bro, you're not going to have a job. I mean, of course, if you want to work in the warehouse and you're cool with that, then that's great. And people are cool with that. But the legislators don't think you're cool. They hate you. you're the scourge, right? You're the people that they're staying on minimum wage isn't meant for you to stay there forever. Why don't you buck yourself up and that jam you're in, we can say, well, that's bullshit, or you can say that's correct, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, that's what we're fighting.
And and I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, we just got to look at it because Beauty said it perfectly. It's all the black sheep.
Yep.
And that's the truth. I mean, let's be flat out honest. And, if somebody came into, say you're a congressman, somebody that looks like Grim Green, okay? Not going after tattoos or anything like that, but somebody that looks like Grim Green were to just walk in your office and you had no idea who they were. And they were saying, hey man, I really got this thing. I really support it. Man, it's something that I really like. This is why. Would you take them seriously?
No.
I mean, I'm going to be flat out honest. If I didn't know who Grim Green was and I was in Congress or I was a state rep, somebody came in to me like that, I'd be like, okay, leave me. But if somebody came in like Dimitri, or somebody came in like Duncan Hunter, or somebody came in like
Phil
Faircloth, or Phil, somebody that wasn't the typical vapor, I would support them more. Because the typical vapor, I hate to say it, I love saying it, but I hate saying it. The typical vapor, and I was actually surprised how much this is true, is normally, a lot of times in PA, I'll say it this way, it's like this in PA. A high percentage of vapors are former narcotic abusers who switched off narcotics and got into vaping because they actually also smoked, and it was another addiction. So, and on the average, not all of them, they have the gauges, they have everything. Not saying any of that's bad, but you don't get taken as seriously when you walk into someone's office with the huge gauges in your ears, in a t-shirt, shorts, or even a 3-button shirt and a pair of slacks. You don't get taken as seriously as someone coming in there like Steve or myself.
Would you believe me if I said about 5 years ago that was me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, if you met me in person close enough, you'll still see all the piercing holes that I have all in my face.
But I'm not even complaining about that. I'm just saying that you got to know where your place is.
True.
And see, it's those that are, in my honest opinion, I know I need to watch my step. That's why I'm trying to be very politically correct a little bit right now.
Right.
I'm just going to come out of nowhere and say Vision is an interesting flavor.
It is.
But on the average, you walk in, they don't take you seriously.
Nope.
In an office. And is that a little the fault of the congressman? Of course, it's a lot the fault of the congressman. But it's also the fault of the industry for not getting off their butts and getting people like Dr. Farsalanos. If I doubt I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
Yep.
But Dr. F, that's what I'm going to call him from now on.
Yep.
And, getting Dimitri out there to everybody.
Whether you agree with them or not.
Yeah.
How about if we just come up seriously? I mean, those guys are cool. Let's see. Barcelinos, he just goes and blasts you with science.
Exactly.
But bro, that doesn't matter anymore. I mean, we got the guy that spent his whole life banging on anti-smoking campaigns, running a blog that just blows holes in all the statements anybody makes. And you can find them and everything's great, but it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
because they don't care about that, bro. I'm telling you, we need this other guy.
Oh,
All
I
they
agree
care
with
about
you
is this right here.
wholeheartedly, but I'm just getting to the type of person. You know, we need that type of every Joe, you know, every man. That person that
I'm
fits.
telling you, but Stone guy, he's not, you know, he's wild.
He's not every other Joe.
He's got a damn Nixon tattoo underneath his neck, on his back, because Nixon gets back up and gets with the program, and that's why it's all about resiliency and picking yourself back up and get with it.
Hey, John, if you want to jump in here, feel free. You have the link. You're in the room.
Well, I got bad thunderstorms. I'm gonna hop off because thunder's hitting close around my house. I shut the computer down, guys.
All right, brother.
Talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
And if John doesn't want to step in, we might go ahead and just call it the night anyway.
Yeah, I'm cool. We can cut it.
But we'll wait and see if John wants to hop in.
Hi, John.
Or if anybody else wants to hop in, like Beauty or... Yeah, you're John. Or Tommy or anybody else if they want to hop in.
My John is in your state, I think.
Oh, is he in West Virginia right now?
You believe so?
I wasn't sure if he was here already or not.
Yeah, I don't think he's home.
Yeah, he said data.
So, you know, I don't know if he wants everyone to know where.
Jump in. He's got the link. So, Tommy, Beauty, if one of you guys want to jump in too, you're more than welcome.
I'd love to hear somebody else's
Just
thoughts.
let me know, and I'll post the link. Or actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and post the link.
I'd love to hear somebody else's thoughts other than my own.
Yeah, same here. That's for anybody that wants to hop in.
Hey, John, what's up, brother?
Orale, vatos.
How you doing, man?
I'm cold right now.
Don't you love West Virginia weather?
Hot as balls the whole time we're here, and then right when I'm about to go home, it gets cold as hell. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
When you going home Sunday?
No, sometime soon.
Oh.
I can't put out a date, but
soon, very soon.
Oh, because if it was going to be Saturday or Sunday, I would have came up Friday night.
Yeah, no.
I just haven't. We haven't gotten together to try to figure out a way to meet up.
Yeah, I've been slammed out here. It's been crazy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been good though. But you know.
Have you made it to any vape shops?
Yeah, I got to one. One of the guys that's on Royal owns a shop out here. Shit, I forgot the name. But his name is Dustin Budges, and he owns 2 shops out here. Yeah. I got to try some lovely West Virginia moonshine. Quite delicious. Some root beer moonshine. I won't say where I got it, but I got it.
That's cool.
But yeah, I mean, and I got a new RDA.
Oh, sweet.
That's an Alliance, I think is what it's called. It's by Yosh at Vaporgate.
Is that the Alliance V2 or V1?
Yeah, the V2, the 30 millimeter.
The fat boy.
Yeah, I've been running this little box all week because it's my beater, and I don't want to tear up my nice mods. Even though I brought everything with me.
Right.
It's crazy too because it's so big, and I've got a nice 22 gauge series build in it with, you know, it's a series box. I even had to get new batteries because, well, I don't have them in. Here they are. They're in here. I forgot. I got some nice brownies.
Oh, nice.
But
you would have told me you needed brownies. How much did you pay for them?
Oh, I got them really cheap.
Okay, you got them wholesale probably.
You got them in front of people, man. Come on.
It was so crazy because a lot of the guys out here are like, what do you mean you got people out here? I'm like, I'll show you.
Absolutely.
I didn't get to run into my Res brothers because they had some vehicle issues, but that was all right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
if you're still in town tomorrow night, let me know, and if I get off early, I might just drive down that way.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I mean, I'm outside because it's crazy inside. So I can agree on your guys' points a lot of the ways. Hell, I'd suck as that guy to put up there. Too much of a jerk.
You're too much of a jerk. I mean, what do you think about getting somebody like Roger Stone?
I think it'd be good. We need somebody with you know, a nice, somebody with a background, like not like a doctor or, yeah.
Somebody honestly like the people at the EVCA.
Like Donald Trump. Okay, no, we'll go on to. No, I'm kidding.
The EVCA people have a good background. I mean,
they have a great background, but here's the question: is can they speak publicly? Can they facilitate what they need on paper as much as they can, or with their voice as much as they can paper? Because anybody can write something on paper. Because you know, all you have to do is go back, delete a couple lines, and repeat.
Yeah.
So the question is how can these people articulate these things to another person? Because there's a lot of stress that goes into that. Hell, when I used to, I'll go back into that. I was in evangelism school for a couple years, and I had to learn to speak. I was a Navy. I'm a Navy.
I can't picture you that. I'm sorry, but I can't picture you that.
Most can. It's awesome. There's the Navy. With me, they do a lot. You know, they do a lot of public speaking. You have to learn it with your as you come up in rank. So the question is how well can they articulate these things? Granted, I'm very good at public speaking if I want to be. Like I can zip it up, button it up, make it nice and pretty, and put it on a package on your desk if you want me to, in a way. But you also have to look at it in two ways. So you have your articulate, right? The guy that can talk to people, but can he sell it to them?
Right.
Because that's what you have to do. Everything in the world is ran on business, on money. So if I'm coming to you as a, let's say, a vacuum salesman guy, the Kirby guys, and I walk up to your door and I can't sell it, and I can tell you everything it does perfectly, I can line it all out and everything else, it doesn't mean you're going to buy it. I have to sell you that vacuum.
And see, that's where I think they're going to come in handy, and here's the reason why. We are the best people to sell it.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom line, we're the best people to sell it. But I use Morton Blackwell a lot because I learned a lot from his youth leadership school for campaigning. When it comes to grassroots politics, the teacher does not do the work. The teacher teaches you how to communicate it, and you have to communicate it. That is the key. They have to teach us how to communicate it, because I'm telling you flat out, our advocacy organizations turned their freaking backs on Duncan Hunter because he has had this legislation in his pocket for the last year and a half. He wanted to release it before Cole Bishop, and they all told him not to. They all got behind him in writing this legislation of 2194. And then, because they thought they had the golden ticket of Cole Bishop Amendment, now H.R. 1136, the golden ticket, the same exact freaking thing that they've done since 2015, that they think that is what is the gold standard.
Yeah.
And they themselves will say it's a Band-Aid just to stop the freaking bleeding. Whereas the Hunter bill, I know you're not a big fan of it, John, because of the mech mod side of it. And you actually have a chance. I'm opening up the floor to you when they come on. You know, Larry Flick is connected directly to Congressman Hunter. And then both of them, Linda and Mark, are connected to the EVCA. You're welcome to come on that night and talk about the mech mod issue. you're welcome on that night because I know that's a big issue of that bill with you.
Well,
Oh yeah.
but they also said, even the other night, they said, that's fine that you got an issue. Talk to us about it so that we can actually, I mean, it's a jumping off point if nothing else.
Exactly.
It's getting your foot in the door.
Exactly. And that's what I'm telling people. I'd rather see something to save the industry rather than nothing to save the industry.
So here's another thing. So check this out. You talked about grassroots politics. You can take that all the way back to Rome, honestly. You really can. Everything that we talked to today, history's repeating itself. Oh. What did Caesar say about Rome? Well, let's put it this way. You control the mob, you control Rome.
Yes.
You control the mob, you control America. All right, I'm going to go into 5 things. A couple of them are they're touchy with people. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just using them as an example. Gay rights, transgender rights, marijuana, what the hell else?
Abortion.
There's like 2 or 3 other things. But here was the difference. They started as a minority group, but the minority group sold to the people, the mob, their ideals that it was correct. So if not only with EDC or whatever they are, ECVA, I almost had it, not only with them helping, they need to also control the people. As you said, the teacher teaches the people go out. That's how church is too. Like you're supposed to go out and hear Jesus and everything else, right? So if they are able, and as a community, I always hit on this too, as a community, because I'm not going to get into who it was, even though I've been wanting to rant about this on this show all week, but I'm not going to say the name because it'll bring some bullshit.
No, but just be flat out. Don't be correct.
So this person posted something, right, that knew was going to get leaked to the internet. It was obvious. If you're an owner and you post something stupid, everybody's going to see it. We know that. I mean, shit, if I show my butt cheeks on Facebook, somebody in freaking Antarctica is going to see it.
All day long.
Right? So as a community, and the funny thing is I got attacked because I'm one of those people, I don't care. If you're going to call me an asshole on Facebook, whoop-de-doo, you're like 15 states away from me, I don't care. I got attacked by these people, like, oh, you don't understand this and this. And I'm like, no, here's the difference, dude. Full willing knowing that something was going to show and it was going to cause controversy and it was going to cause issues. And you still did it. And it makes not only you, because this person was very huge into advocacy, not only have you ruined that credibility with just one picture, you've pissed a lot of people off. And then you have all these groupies who are supposed to be posting for advocacy. They've lost their credibility because, hey, you're the owner you've been working so hard for just literally shit on you.
Yeah. And of course it was only sugar packet or whatever the hell it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Granted, it was only sugar packet, but it looked like cocaine.
Absolutely.
And so I get the art. I get the idea that person had. I get where it came from. I understand it, but it wasn't the right setting. You want to do something like that, you take your team and you go, hey, what do you guys think about this? Steve does that shit to me all the time.
They all said no. They all said no.
Yeah.
They said
so
no.
Then if your team says no, because your teams, like with sponsorships, your teams are your guys on the streets. They know what's going on. They know what's what. They know who's who. You may not be able to do that because you're stuck in a building like that. Well, you can't even see it like that, right? Making juice, making mods, making RDAs. You don't know this shit. Like you might, if you're proactive enough, you might be able to. Like if you have that kind of time, which a lot of them.
It's hard to keep up with it, but yeah.
Yeah, you don't. So you ask your guys.
I do.
So bringing it back around as a community, and when I got attacked, I was policing. Remember we talked about that the other week, was policing ourselves. So if you have a vapor that's saying, hey, and it's more than one. If there's more than one, if it's just one guy being an asshole, that's one guy being an asshole. But if it's 30, 40, 50 people being pissed off because this isn't right, you might want to recheck your priorities and recheck what you're doing, because as a community, if we can't be expected to police ourselves, again, this is coming back full circle from the other week, how are we expected to not let them regulate us? Right? So if just because I'm going to say it, and Steve's going to love this, just because you ride dick for a sponsorship doesn't mean you should put your balls on the line and back that person when they do something wrong. It doesn't matter. Like with my TVL guys, one of our team, oh my God, I'm out of breath here. It's so humid. I can talk for hours without breathing in California. I don't know what the hell is up with West Virginia. But if you can, like my TVL, there's this TVL squad that had an issue. I called them out because it was 4 or 5 times that they've done stupid shit. I called them out on the page. I'm like, hey, you guys are fucking stupid. And they got pissed. But then the owner saw it, and the owner goes, hey, he's right. You're fucking stupid. So it comes to a point where these people need to stop worrying about, oh, who's going to sponsor me? Because honestly, I don't care. Like, I've gotten to a point, like, there's people I call family. Steve's one of them. But if it means that,
right,
if I have to,
values and if I'm doing something fucked up, I'd expect you to come sideways at me and say, dude, you're fucking up.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, people need to stop thinking, oh, I'm going to get something free. I have to ride this dude's dick. Sorry for the language, folks, but it's the truth. I'm going to get this free thing. I'm going to get this free model, this free bottle of juice, but at what cost? Because one day you're going to look back and go at that one post, no matter what, who, what, when, where, who posted it, that it could have been even yourself. And you look at that one post, go, I could have changed something there. And when I did change, if I did change something there, I've changed the whole spectrum of what's going on. I mean, it comes down to a simple little thing. Like, seriously, that post exploded. It went into 30, 40, 50 groups. And everybody in the vaping community, almost everybody saw it, almost. There's a few out there that haven't. But that's a big deal. Like, just one picture. And if you can't expect, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be naysayers like, oh, this mod is beautiful. Oh, that's stupid because I got a compliment. Who cares about that shit? Like, at what cost are you going to put your ass on the line for your sponsorship instead of helping the full community? Because one day your sponsorship could be gone, completely gone. And it's because maybe you didn't step up at the time you were supposed to.
Right.
There's no point in fighting for a sponsorship if the community is going to be gone, because that sponsorship will not exist anymore.
Exactly.
And that's the realizations I've had lately. Like, I still do my things I need to do to keep my sponsors happy and help them out and do whatever I can because it's just me. But I'm not going to risk the community for a free mod or a bottle of juice or a bag of wire.
No.
Because it's not worth it.
I mean,
honestly,
look at what happened with Kim Sun. I mean,
yeah.
I know you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but Kim Sun had this reviewers club back in 2015, I believe it was, and you joined this reviewers club, and they were going to give you $1,000, but you had to get your review approved by them before you posted it, and you were entered into the contest for the best review of that mod. Well, let's just say this. It was supposed to be a temp control mod. It came out, and literally, it was not temp control whatsoever.
They got in over their heads.
They had a nickel coil in it, and that nickel coil, if you would dry burn it, would burn the cotton. I'm sorry. A temp control mod should not burn the cotton if you dry burn it.
That's correct.
It should
read the temperature and shut down.
Exactly. It should brown the cotton a little bit.
Right, because it got too fast, too quick, but then it's supposed to feedback, self-feedback, yep.
Exactly. And they got slammed on YouTube for that. It actually got my worst mod of 2015 award. And I literally, the thumbnail I made for that had the mod inside of a trash can because that's where it needed to go. And I mean, that was the whole thing. You had people out there that were not seeing that it was supposed to be temp control, didn't understand it, but they knew about the Reviewers Club, and it makes you wonder, because I found out about it the day that they invited me in.
Yeah.
I told her flat out, I was like, look, I'm not telling you I'm going to get it approved before I post it. I'm going to post my review no matter what.
They weren't happy about that.
See, and the funniest thing, like with all these things that, like, I'm a fully sponsored mod, like vapor, I guess you would say. I have a mod, wire, juice, cotton. Hell, the only thing I don't think I have is batteries and
Yeah, you vape on like pennies, right? Yep, and you have all the cool shit. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and have I put in a lot of work for that? Yes, it is what it is. But if you can't take somebody that's, and I'm not saying I'm high in the vapor food chain, because I don't think I am, but somebody who has the experience and a knowledge of how sponsorships work, and you have that one guy that's saying, hey, I'm not going to risk the community for, this, some dude fucking giving me something.
Yeah.
That's something you need to take a look at, because if you're going to go ahead and say, well, fuck what the haters say, because they're just haters, and you have that, because everybody does. There's few people that don't. I don't think everybody's moral compass is that fucked up. But if it is, then there's a bigger issue that America is just going to have to fix over hundreds of years of whatever. But when that happens, and those moments that happen, you're going to have that one little voice in the back of your head saying, he's right, or she's right. And that's the voice you got to listen to, because that's the one of reason. That's the one telling you, hey, this is wrong.
Yeah. And
at that moment, like if, say, Marlo, who I love to death, if he put out a post with freaking a syringe and heroin sitting on the table, and with his mod saying, oh, well, it's this, or if he put out a freaking full naked chick holding the mod or something stupid, I would tell him, hey, that's fucked up. If they pushed me, I would take it to a page, because I'm not willing to be a part of something that's going to bring down everybody. Because at that moment, the mindset is, I want to sell this.
Right.
To get mine. It's not, I want to sell this to help him or her that's in the chat, or him that's on Facebook, or that 18-year-old that's been smoking cigarettes since they were 13.
Yeah.
Right. It's not about that. There's two. It's a double-edged sword, because you have to make your money to live, but there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And that's the shitty part, is because you have to call it political correctness. And I fucking hate that. But you have to have a sense of political correctness in a way. Like, okay, like how I do pictures for Steve, I'm going to use some fucking cool background and put it on some flowers or some bullshit or some strawberries, because that's what it tastes like. Right. It makes sense. Like, okay, so there we go. Take out political correctness, something that makes fucking sense. You got to make, oh shit, it's raining.
I do have some good news for the channel.
Frank?
Speaking of pictures, I know Steve's going to love this, because I thought of this idea this week. I just ordered me, because of Harley going after me, because she's been helping me redo the web page, which I've added some videos. I added one of Steve's favorite videos that Herb's in. And what I'm going to do is I ordered a light box, and I'm going to start taking my own pictures of the e-liquid bottles here at the house.
Oh, nice.
For the web page and for other things, and I'll post them on Instagram. I'll do all that as well.
You want help editing? I'll help you.
So
Steve,
I got that light box to do that.
John's good at that.
Light boxes are amazing. I have one and I love it.
and it has a black and a white background. So
you probably got the same one I did.
I got the $6 one off Wish.
Yep, that's the same one I got.
$6? Really?
$6
Yeah, and
for a light
it's
box.
got an LED bar across the front.
Yeah.
That's what I use. $6 light box. Easy day. I mean, you can make one for $6, but hey, why make one when I can just order one for $6?
What kind of camera do you use?
Me?
I've used my iPhone.
Yeah, I use my I run my V20. It's got the dual camera on the back, and it shoots in like 1080p.
But you use your phone. You don't use like a DSR, DSLR, whatever that.
I have a Canon Rebel T3, but it's old, and I used to use it a lot. But it's because at that point when I transfer the photo across, I mean, yeah, it still comes in 1080p, but it comes out a little bit more grainy, and I don't really. So I use my phone. It makes it easier. Plus, I can just point the phone and click. So
I got it.
Then you get some badass photo editors. Now, I don't always edit my photos, but I like to because it's fun and I enjoy it. But yeah, it's fucking raining. Oh shit. You get some badass photo editors, you can do anything. You know that one.
Oh yeah.
I've seen crazy shit. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
yeah,
cool.
I mean, so that's one thing that I'm actually going to add here in my room and start, like, all the bottles you just recently sent me.
Yeah.
I've got them put to the side because I don't want to touch them except for my original and my Bunker Bliss because I just thought of that this week.
Right.
And I'm holding those off until I get that back. And once I get it in here, which might take a month, I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Oh, well, just go ahead and use it up. Send you more for pictures. It's no big deal.
Oh, okay.
and the rain stopped. We got to love West Virginia.
I want to do the whole line. I want to do every one of them. The only ones I can't do, which I might, because I'll just use the ones that she already gave me as Fat Panda, because those are good pictures.
Yep.
But I also am going to find me a piece of wood, just a round piece of wood, that's a tree, that's just a slice that I want to put them on sometimes.
Right.
You know what you could probably also do?
What's that?
Get an ass ton of pennies and put them in a box.
For
what? Yeah?
For what?
You put the bottle on top of the pennies and you have a kick-ass background.
Ooh, that is a good idea. I never thought of that.
Boom.
That is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I didn't get the pennies. I used red rocks back in the day, and the picture came out fucky because the rocks set off the color weird. So my contrasts were all messed up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was that one I sent you. It was like the fish tank rocks. I was like, oh, this will be cool. Let me throw these in a box. Let me take a couple pictures of some freaking bottles. And I was like, shit, I got a lot of editing to do.
I didn't know that you had to do that much editing for it. I thought they looked pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, after the editing, it was decent. But
Yeah.
But no, seriously, with all these, I'm not going to get into, pro-Trump, anti-Trump, Democrat, Republican, because it fucking doesn't matter anymore,
Right.
really. But it comes down to, if they outlaw mech mods, am I going to go back to smoking? No.
No, you'll go to regulated.
Yeah, I'll go to regulated. I mean, does it suck? Yeah, I really enjoy my mech mods. I think that they're, a lot of them are works of art. Even outside of TVO, like a lot of the shit Comp Life comes up with, Dragon Mod.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm going to be kind of upset because I want a scoundrel so bad just to say I have a scoundrel, but I can't afford a scoundrel.
Yeah.
We got plenty of
I want one so bad and I can't afford it.
No, you don't.
They were decent. They were all right. I had one. I had an aluminum. It was pretty good. I liked it.
I wanted just to say I own one. That's what I want it for, just to say I own it.
I had a connoisseur. That one was all right. I couldn't get the button pissed me off because I just didn't like I don't know. I'm picky.
Was it a cool mod, though? Was it a good mod?
It was a good mod. It was a great mod. It was heavy. It felt like it was, you could, like a roll of quarters in your hand if you're going to punch somebody. But I mean, it's just the button. I didn't like the button. And I guess that was the biggest problem too, is a lot of people hated the button. I'm like, okay, well, change the button. And he did. He actually did. He got his new line out. And it's the button's a little different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even though I'm on TVL and I love every TVL mod I have, not just because I'm sponsored by him, because I actually bought TVL before I was sponsored by him, and I actually liked them. I went to VapeCon, got a killer deal on one, and then Marlo comes out, hey man, I'll sell you one for this much. I'm like, sweet, I'll go buy one. And so I bought 2 in a day because I liked it. But even though I love TV. Oh God, it's raining. It's on and off here, bro. Like, what the heck?
You sound like you've been wet before. You're in the Navy, dude. Stop.
Do what?
You're in the Navy and you're like afraid of a little water.
No, I just don't want to get my phone and batteries wet.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah, I brought my open case because it's tougher. And I didn't want to mess up my Desi.
I feel you.
But coming from a TVL guy, my favorite mod is still not a TVL. I have a mod that I have yet to sell, and I probably never will. And it's one of the old school. It's got pins on the top, and it's my 18650 Scotchua.
Oh yeah.
It's just a brass tube. Like, it's just a brass tube, and the button's held in with a C-clamp, and it goes up and down, and the pins adjust, and it fires. And smooth, hits hard, always worked. I've won more comps with that mod than anything I've ever used. And, you know, I see it as a work of art. And would it suck if I couldn't use that anymore? Hell yeah, it would. But then again, it comes back down to that whole thing of, am I going to be adult enough to go, hey, am I going to give Big Tobacco my money? Or am I just going to go buy a regulated device until I figure out mech mods aren't that bad? So all these beautiful things that are out, all these expensive, crazy mods. Did I freeze?
Nope.
Okay. All these crazy, expensive mods, yeah, they're great and all, but yet again, it comes down to what is it worth to save somebody else's life from cigarettes?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
If we can get a foot in the door and we can make some kind of change, something, it could be minute of, hey, you know, we have regulated mods for the next year until we figure out what we're going to do in mechanical mods. Hey, we have regulated mods. I mean, you can have your cake and pudding, but you might not get them at the same time.
Right.
Exactly, and that's what I keep telling people. This legislation is to, I mean, I'm going to be flat out honest. I've said this multiple times. The main issue going on with our states is because we're labeled a tobacco product. That is the main issue with most of our states. They felt emboldened to pass taxes like they did because we are a tobacco product. 90% of our taxes didn't start coming till they knew we were going to be classified a tobacco product.
Right.
If you take that away, you're going to see a huge difference in states and their adopting of the vapor industry. You're going to see changes in Pennsylvania. You're going to see I'm sorry, Steve, I know you probably disagree with me. You're going to see changes in California. You're going to see changes nationwide.
Until they get rid of Jerry Brown, ain't nothing changing here.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, you're going to see changes nationwide when it comes to the way people perceive the industry. Once we are declassifying a tobacco product.
And that comes down to it again, is controlling the mob. If you can get the populace to believe and realize that this isn't tobacco just because it has fucking nicotine in it. I mean, honestly, if I really wanted, if every vapor in the world posted a picture of spinach and say, hey, it has the same nicotine, people would probably stop eating spinach.
Yeah.
Right.
Or tomatoes.
Or even broccoli.
Eggplant.
Because the funniest, like a lot of, it's so funny because I can't tell you how many times my mod's been called a douche flute this week, but because I'm around a bunch of Navy guys and they think it's funny. But they've asked, like, I don't talk about, I just come out and vape and they come and talk to me.
Yeah.
And some of these guys are some real bad mother effers, if you want to know, if you catch my drift.
Yep.
I know Steve does. But they ask me about these things, and you know, I was talking to them the other day. I was like, you know, well, why do you even vape? And I'm like, well, I smoked for 14 years. You know, I don't want to die. I don't want to wake up in the morning and cough up a lung. I want to see my little girl grow up. I want to be able to talk when I wake up and smell things and taste things. And they're like, it really does all that. I go, have you ever smoked? And they're like, no. I go, then you'd never understand.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a chef, I was smoking. And I'm telling you now, stuff I cooked as a chef, I had to modify because I never understood how people thought some of my stuff was too strong. Now that I don't smoke, I can taste such a difference. And the funny part is, I mean, I know this is going to sound this is getting into my personal life, but you know, it's kind of funny because a kiss, your significant other can even tell.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, literally, Harley flat out tells me she doesn't mind it because she gets the flavor of it, and it's actually sweet. She doesn't have to taste it on her finger because she can taste it. And I told her, no, that's just me being that sweet, but...
My favorite thing to use is, you guys ever seen the movie Michael with John Travolta?
Yes.
Yeah.
So smokers smell like an ashtray. Well, when Michael and John Travolta, everybody's like, oh, he smells like cookies. I get to be that vaping. I walk into a room and like, why do I smell vanilla pudding? Hi. Like, I mean,
Why do I smell like a donut? Why do I smell like a donut? Ah.
Right? Why do I smell
like a funnel cake?
Yeah. Why do you smell like root beer, dude? Because, you know, hey. I mean, it's...
Why do I smell like an Arnold Palmer?
Right.
That one's a little rough to smell out, but I'll go with it.
You can smell the lemonade in it. I'm telling you that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
When we're building the Sweet Freedom, dude, the whole fucking smells like craziness. Like, you got to pay attention, man, because it's just smelling when you're doing that. It's like the flavors are strong when they make it.
Yeah.
Lord.
Hey, Steve, you're the one that got me to strong flavors. You know that because of
I love
Smiley.
strong.
I remember him telling me about that.
I love strong. I hate weak.
I mean, if I can't show it right now, but I have 3 things full of different e-liquids. And probably 3/4 of those bottles are Smiley or
Some shit of yours.
Psycho X.
Oh, right on.
But then over here is all my stuff.
Yeah.
This shelf right here.
Right.
And I'm gonna be flat out honest. I have a bottle of I actually have a bottle of Darth Vader that I made on February 11th. That's how much is still in it.
There you go.
That sucker is steeped.
Yes, sir. Just means that the nicotine isn't as strong.
Yep.
Same with the pot of gold. That's my pot of gold.
I don't even know what that is.
Think about it.
Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Oh,
Figured that out in a second.
I had no idea.
Dorothy
need-
Lane. This is my Dorothy Lane. Made March 11th.
Not nice.
I need some Fruity Pebbles of vanilla ice cream. That's what I want.
Yeah, don't you like that strawberry something else? You like some strawberry something else. Not the,
Yeah. No, it's Serial Suicide.
No, but there's there's an offshoot of Moo that you like.
Oh yeah, no, it was it was Rawberry Shake.
There you go.
Yeah, it was the Rawberry flavor and vanilla milkshake.
Yeah, I know how to do it.
Baller, but there was only one problem with it when we had it, was it killed my coils in like a day. It was
Hey,
sweet.
John, if you want some of this Lucky Charms, I'll send you a 30 mil.
I'll try it.
Okay.
I'll throw it out there. Sure.
Same with you, Steve. If you want a bottle, I'll send you one.
I like that other one that you gave us. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't know. It was some other candy he had. It was pretty good.
Sweet Tart, Skittles,
Skittles, I think.
Dorothy Lane. That's this one right here.
See, now I know how Rob feels because it's 12 o'clock in the freaking morning here, and I'm not tired because I have yet to switch from Cali time because I'm not going to be here long. I'm going to go home. I'm still going to wake up at 4 in the morning because that's what time we wake up here for. But
Or
it's 4 in the
even
morning.
better,
Cali.
my Samwise Gamgee, made February 11th. That's my strawberry cheesecake.
What?
Some cheesecake.
I told you, I have a crap ton of liquid here, but I've been stuck on the Minuteman Smiley kick.
Oh, that's cool.
Again, I mean, I've been basically vaping that except for carrying a 30 mil of my Darth Vader or my Samwise Gamgee or one of those to work with me every day.
All right.
Yeah, you got to change the palette or you lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that sometimes I sit here and I'm vaping my deal, and I'm like, damn, I can't even taste this anymore. What's wrong?
I will tell you though, my
Lemonade. Go to
Skittles, if you vape it, be ready to take your coils and clean them.
I didn't have no problem with it.
Because it does have added sweetener in it.
I didn't really have a problem with it when I was using it.
Yeah, but if say I'm running that on a low bill, they'll probably freaking black up.
But, I mean, the thing is, you can't really make other than the Jolly Ranchers, you can't really make mini candies without adding sweetener.
Well, unless you find out what the flavor is that brings out the sweet part of the other thing.
Dude, I mean, they do that shit with soda. I mean, look at Dr. Pepper. That shit's got like prune juice and chocolate in it. Like, if you could do that with E-Lick, could you imagine, like, oh, I'm making a frou-frou donut with freaking go-go berries on it, and one of your ingredients is chocolate? Like, holy shit.
Right, that'd be amazing, huh?
Hey, John, you see all these bottles back here?
Yeah.
Every bit of that is e-liquid flavorings.
Jesus.
Nuts. He just does all that shit because he fucking thinks he's onto something.
No, it's because I like doing it for the fun of it. That's the whole thing. I like doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah. John likes building mods.
Yeah.
I
like designing them too. I like designing mods and RDAs. I just never have the money to make them.
and Steve, you have to admit, when you get in that lab and start working on flavors, it's fun.
It's way fun, dude. If you actually, if I could choose a lot more time to actually in the past to develop, I like doing that. I mean, I really did. That was some of my favorite times, coming up with the new flavors. That was always cool. I liked it.
Especially when you were trying to tweak mine, you probably loved it too.
I did. I liked it. I do like it when you're sitting there and you're doing all that, and then you finally hit something and you're like, dude, this is great. And, and then you get a couple people and they're like, dude, that's good, and then you nailed it. I like it. Of course,
though, I have to admit my biggest satisfaction was when you said I hit very close to morning espresso. That was my biggest satisfaction.
That forge is good, and then we did pretty good with that one because we creamed it up a little bit. And I like it better than the morning espresso was because it's a little more creamier. And I used to always put the vanilla in the morning espresso when we had it, so I appreciate this one more.
And I mean, I was going for that morning espresso. I told you that from the beginning. I was going for my memory of morning espresso for it.
We needed it. That's good. A nice coffee's good.
Exactly. But
of course, you're in the summer.
Yeah, I hate to say this. I love Jen to death, but I like Valley Forge over her coffee because I had it at my old vape shop.
Who's that?
Jen at Fat Panda.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know she had a coffee.
Yeah, she has a coffee. I like ours more than hers personally. But in a way, if I didn't like ours more than hers, it'd be sad.
Yeah, but I didn't even know she had one. I should ask her for some.
All right, gentlemen, I have to get inside before I get soaked because
Yeah, man. I got work
coming.
And I was actually going to say, let's go ahead and call this a night, because believe it or not, we've been on here for almost 2.5 hours, Steve.
Long time bullshit.
It's actually been a total of 2 hours, 16 minutes.
I bet you guys stayed on track the whole time because I wasn't there to send you off track.
Actually, no, we were back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, dang.
We were pounding on each other, and you know, and I was bitching about it, and you know, a lot of it was just me talking my standard sort of mellow but kind of hyper fucking way, you know.
And me using the F word in the middle of the show.
He got a little pissed off, but you
No,
know,
it's fun. Hey, that was the word, right? I mean, it's in the dictionary, I think.
well, it's the same old shit. Like, what are we gonna, you know, what are we doing? You know, and no one knows, and we just fuck around, and you know, that's what it was about. It was about we're fucked, and then my point was until we fight fire with somebody that fights fire, that knows how to fucking switch, you know, public opinion, like someone that can get Trump elected, and you know, and you know, get rid of the Reform Party by putting, you know, Buchanan in there, and you know, I mean, come on, dude, like this is a guy that knows how to do that stuff. So why aren't we raising money to get him on our side?
Well, I am going to say this: there's a possibility. After I talk to you and I see what my schedule is, if you'd be interested in possibly doing a special Memorial Day show and then still our show Tuesday night. But we'll talk about that later. Just be looking on the site. If you see one coming up on Monday night, you know, I don't care what time it is. If Donnie's still doing his, we'll do ours, and then people can watch on the replay.
I'll tell you, on Monday, I'll be sleeping.
Is that this coming Monday?
Yeah, that's this coming Monday.
Yep.
Sure.
But
I mean,
I don't know if Harley's coming over this weekend because the little girl has still been sick and everything else. Finally, she's getting over what she had, but she might be coming over Saturday and Sunday, and then I don't know if she's going home Monday or what. So we'll take that just how it goes.
It's just another day for me, so whatever you want to do.
But okay, John, won't you remind everybody who you are as always?
Spiked Vapor, TRW, TVL, MVG. Find me on Instagram, John Perry Burris on Facebook. Find me on Vaping Outlaws. Ever need questions, ever need answers, I'm easy to get a hold of. Our group's awesome. Come in there and learn some things. Heck, one day you might be able to join some of the groups that we have that are in there as possible too. So.
Yep.
Steve, as always.
I'm Steve. I'm the owner of Smiley Liquid. We make Smiley Liquid, HFS e-juice, Minuteman e-liquid, and Epiphany e-liquids. You can check us out on MinutemanVapor.com, and you can find us on Switch.com, and you can find us at Smiley-e-liquid.com, and all that good stuff.
Again,
You're going to get more hashtags than I do soon.
Again,
I got more crap going on. I'm on every... And the thing is I'm the owner, so if you catch me on, you know, if you go to social media and you talk to somebody from Smiley, guaranteed you're probably talking to me.
Exactly.
Yep.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. I mean, it's been a great night. We had good discussion, a very good night. And John, I'm glad you're going to be able to get home for Memorial Day.
Oh yeah, I miss my little girl. I've been getting pictures every day, and I'm like, got this smile, and I'm just like, all right, I get it.
But again, I want to thank everybody for coming by tonight. Like he said, MinutemanVapors.com. The coupon code has actually been on the screen all night. NVR Live for 10% off the order. We also, I probably am going to be giving Tommy Vapors a 25% off coupon code once a week to do for his live show. So that's an option for you guys if you want to go over there and watch his show as well. You know, it gives us more notice out there. That's the reason I'm doing it.
Cool name.
More people that see it, the better. But again, guys, thank you so much for coming by. Get involved in the vape movement. You know, I don't care what organization you get involved with. I would like to see you get involved with the EVCA. I know there's a lot of issues with them. And remember, though, everything we're talking tonight has been our opinions. Don't take everything we say as fact. It's all opinion. So
Right.
you have to take it that way. Just understand, we all have an opinion, and they're just like asses. They all stink.
Or we all have.
So, you know, you just got to remember that. And you got to take our opinions and make your own opinion with what we're saying. We're providing you with facts as we know them. There could be a difference. There's differences in facts and interpretations. So just remember all that. Go out there, support everybody. Remember that for the next 2 months, $1 from every purchase on Minuteman Vapors will go to the EVCA. So again, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you later.
Peace out.